Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you're doing fantastic. Listen, if you're new or if you're a OG subscriber, it doesn't matter. Listen, this video is very, very important, right? In general, over the next little bit, I would say maximum of 2 weeks are going to be the best buying opportunities in the context of, still getting a good risk to reward. Obviously, in the future, once things start pumping, you can still technically get in projects. But here's the thing, right? There will come a point where the risk keeps getting higher and the reward keeps getting lower. And for me, the reason why I say it is some of the best final opportunities is because of what the data is saying. So if we look at this chart, we can see that this is the total market cap in the whole entire crypto. Okay. And we can see over here back in November 2021, this was the all-time high, right? We had pretty much 3 trillion in the market, right? With 3 trillion. So why is this important? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we can see that we have been respecting this high, turning it from a resistance to a support. So what does that mean? That we turned a pretty much roof into a floor and we will continue going up higher. We can already see that in total, in general, the market is already above it and will continue going higher. When we look at some other charts, like for example, the altcoin, right? Altcoins outside of the top 10 market cap, we can see that we have, generally speaking, tapped near the all-time highs, went down for a retest before, we will continue pushing up. And here's the thing, right? If you, in general, buy right now, or in between this box, right? In between 290 and 450 billion market cap, in general, that is where the last buying opportunities will be present. And the reason why I say this is because after that, we will be going higher and higher. We will be retesting the highs once again, turning it into a floor, right? Roughly a 450 billion market cap. And then we are going to be skyrocketing. Well, why do I say that? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's what history and data says. Plus, from obviously trading experiences, I know, once things break out, they start flying. So pretty much, right? If we were to compare where we are now to last cycle, we had, the last cycle, one of the last cycle tops here, right? Pretty much 2 cycles ago in 2017, 2018. And then we started to recover in 2020, 2021. And pretty much where this red circle is where we're kind of at right now, right? Generally speaking. So if I break it down a smaller time frame, we can see generally speaking, compared to last cycle, we are somewhere here. And this is going to be, generally speaking, the final buying opportunities, because then you can see it just starts expanding, flying, 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 flying. And you don't really want to be buying, here, 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 here. You can, and you can still make some money, not necessarily 10x's or even 5x's, depending if you buy like up here or here. But, it just doesn't make sense because the risk starts getting higher and the reward starts getting lower. And as you can see with this one big red weekly candle, things crashed a good amount in a week, right? We see the one big red candle that sold off. We can see that, boom, we slammed 60% pretty much in a single week, right? So if hypothetically, if all the coins dropped equally and rose, the same amount over the course of these weeks and months, and each coin dropped, let's say on average 60%, if you would have bought here, you probably would have broke even, worst case scenario. But if you would have bought here, your money would have been at a loss at one point. If you would have bought here, right, you would have been pretty much at a 50% loss. If you would have bought here, you would have been at a bigger loss. And like obviously here, you pretty much almost lost instantly right after you bought. So that is why it is very, very dangerous, right? It is why it's very, very dangerous. That's why I highly just recommend, if you are going to make purchases, do it before we start expanding. And that is going to be ultimately the next move for altcoins, is we're going to be looking to be expanding. So this is why I'm saying the message of, guys, if you're looking to be buying coins, the time is now. You cannot be too stingy on prices, right? Something that I talk about, Caspa, right? I believe Caspa was going to, go and sweep below 10 cents. As of recording, it hasn't happened, right? It hasn't happened, and it doesn't even look likely anymore. Okay, it doesn't look likely. That is why I say, when something's just low, you buy it, right? Even though I did have a buy limit order here, and I was also going to take a leverage trade over here at this rectangular box at pretty much 8.5 cents, it never happened. And it doesn't need to happen now necessarily, right? If we do get one final big dip and one final retracement, maybe Caspa does something like this, like this, and like this. But you got to remember, at the end of the day, I can only say what I see. Okay. I can only say what I see. I can give certain things that are speculations, right? I could say this or that, but half the time it's speculation, and half the time I am saying what the data represents, right? If I see, uh, you know, us breaking this high, for example, this high, then we are technically creating a higher high, and we should be overall trending to the upside. But you got to remember, I have zero control over these markets, absolutely zero, right? That is the reality. And the beautiful thing with crypto is it's very forgiving. Generally speaking, if you buy low or somewhere in the middle or whatever, as long as you don't sell in the negatives and you just sell in the positives, you make money. I know it sounds like a crazy concept, right? So simple, yet so crazy. But seriously, that's how it works, right? Anyone that's bought Caspa, even let's say at 14 cents, at any point, let's say last year in 2024, they would have been up in money, then they would have been down, then they would have been up, then they would have been down, then they would have been up, then they would have been down, and now they pretty much would have been a little bit up as long as they just held, right? So it's much easier than just leverage trading, right? You just, as long as you literally don't sell in the loss, you don't ever technically lose, right? And if you have a good project and you buy under the right context of, we know the bull run's been happening, we know altcoin season is going to happen in a couple months, then you should be fine. And that is why I say do not be stingy, right? Caspa right now is an example of do not be stingy, because some people were being stingy. They didn't want to buy here, right? They were waiting for more drops potentially here, right? Rightfully so, rightfully so. But you can see right now, boom, Caspa has gone up a lot in the last few days, almost 50%. At the current moment, it's up 36%. Here, it's at one point was up 42%. So you can just see that's why I buy in general lows. Same thing with Turbo, right? Same thing with Turbo. I buy in the general lows. I've been mainly buying over here, right? Mainly buying over here. Sometimes I bought a little bit up here, a little bit here, a little bit here. But that's because I'm looking at the bigger picture too. And I'm okay with this. This is part of my strategy. Same thing when I was calling Turbo, buys, right? I remember my buy line was somewhere over here, right? A little bit lower than the dip. I already explained in previous videos why, but you could have got in multiple spots, right? Could have gone like here, 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 here. You could have gone in multiple lows at one point, even here, here, anywhere here, right? As long as you bought here, you would have been chilling, right? And obviously, like I said, everyone has different strategies. Some people put all their money in at the same time. Some people dollar cost average. Well, you can see if you've been buying near the red boxes or in the red boxes, you would have been looking really, really good, right? And when Turbo does do its thing, what it has to do eventually, the same thing for selling applies, right? You're going to have to just generally try to sell within a box near the top, right? And that's pretty much it, right? That is pretty much the crypto game. Obviously, it's not just that, but you have to just keep it simple where buy near the bottoms and then you try to sell near the tops. And that is why I'm just saying, people, do not, be too stingy with prices. The expansion is coming soon. The expansion is coming soon. I would not be surprised, like I said, if there's one more pullback, before we really start exploding. Generally speaking, it is when February starts. The first week of February is when we start exploding with altcoins. So we do have about 3 weeks left, but just know that is based off, the previous data. Sometimes things will change. Maybe it'll be a week earlier, maybe it'll be a week later, or maybe it'll be different. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.